So folks, probably the most intriguing matchup on the card today here for Apex. Pure Evil CJ Carter taking on Sammy Smooth, and here we see
I think there's an echo in here.
Here we see CJ Carter, one of the fastest rising stars in BritWres today.
And listen to the crowd, no love for him here.
I've never seen a room that CJ Carter has walked into that didn't have an instant reaction to him, whether they love him or whether they hate him. The noise reigns in regardless, and right now that noise is a resounding boo.
Pure Evil, he has made himself the center point of anything he's involved in, and has made sure that you know he has been in a match that night. You will not forget his face, you won't forget his voice.
And if you're his opponent, you will not forget the strikes, the power moves. They will leave their mark. But again, we're seeing that slightly different outlook from CJ Carter.
Yeah, no face paint today. It's interesting. But perhaps he's feeling that he doesn't require it at this point.
We could be seeing the evolution of Evil. But for now, let's introduce his opponent today. Current NXT UK roster member. And this rematch 2 years in the making here.
Of course, both men were in completely different places when they met 2 years ago, and look at where they have been since then. They have gone all over the country, they have won titles, they have gone accolades, and they're now standing at the top of the BritWres mountain, respectively.
CJ Carter, former UBW heavyweight champion. Sammy Smooth, former Pro Wrestling Clash champion. He's pretty, he's deadly, he's Sammy Smooth.
And this is something that both men requested as well. Both men feeling that after 2 years, so much has changed and their skill set has improved, that perhaps it's the right thing to finally have this match and decide who is better. You see a little bit of mind games there from Sammy.
It was in this very ring they met 2 years ago. We all know how that turned out. So we're going round 2 now. Carter, Smooth.
And for Sammy, it's going to be that late game offense. We know he's got the stamina for days. He has ability to come back in 20, 30 minutes into a contest. For Carter, it is that speed, it is that technical prowess, it is that desire to win that is so strong, he will do anything he can. Of course, there's a big difference in experience. Carter, nearly 13 years in the business now, has been all over, has reinvented himself multiple times.
Yeah, we ain't playing polo now. Collar and elbow tie up, and the power of Sammy Smooth wins out to begin with.
Seen him posing as well very early on there.
You see the crowd already getting into the head of CJ Carter. We see that as soon as people aren't making noise for him,
he eventually starts to turn on him, yeah. And for someone as skilled as Carter, he's got to try and keep his eyes on the prize. Of course, one of our very first matches we called for him was against one Mark Haskins.
Yeah, who did he ever beat, eh?
Exactly. Mark Haskins, now Ring of Honor alumni, Progress champion, former Progress champion. He is one of the greatest technical wrestlers that the modern scene has ever witnessed.
That's the thing, both these men have been in there with the best, and they've learned every single time. You cannot experience matches with that caliber of opponent and not take something away.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the pedigree that both men are bringing. Of course, you mentioned Sammy Smooth and NXT UK, Sam Stoker, but also let's not forget CJ Carter, a young lion in Frontline Wrestling, one of the premier promotions.
So both men sitting under the learning tree of two of the most prolific kind of scholars you could ask for, really.
Yeah, one of the head trainers, Sid Scala, the other one, Will Ospreay. You cannot get better caliber trainers than that, and that means in those 2 years, they have not just sharpened their skills, they have turned them into diamond heads. Of course, one thing that hasn't changed, unfortunately, is CJ's necessity to interact with the crowd. He just cannot help it. It is something that gets caught in his head every time. But when he is on, he's on. He's got to be very careful against someone like Sammy who doesn't have those distractions.
Now a knuckle lock applied.
And there's that test of strength.
Yeah.
You can see.
I think so far, I think we can pretty much back. Wait, I was about to say we can bank on the power advantage going to Sammy Smooth, but that wily instinct of the veteran CJ Carter.
It's that experience and that technical prowess we've talked about, Ollie.
Lands on his feet. Those knuckle locks are still there, but breaks it. Oh wait, turns into the pin. 1, 2.
Oh, reversal that catches him. 1, 2.
Just the 2.
Reversal again. 1, 2. Just reversal on reversal here. Very nice.
Referee earning his paycheck right now, back and forth.
And let's be clear, this is not easy to do. This requires a significant amount of stamina early on. Look at that.
Jackknifes in.
But look at that, Carter staying on him.
Rolls round into the cradle.
Catches
1, 2. Again, just the 2 count.
He is staying on him. Sweeps the leg, lateral press. 1. Oh, just a 1 count. And there you see.
I'm exhausted just watching this right now.
If you have never trained in wrestling in your life, I can tell you that the stamina required to do what they've just done is ridiculous. And it shows the conditioning that both men have to be able to do that and stand up without breathing heavy. And you don't get to the top of the ladder in NXT UK or in Frontline or anywhere else in this country and beyond if you can't do those things. What you are seeing is the top of the ladder when it comes to skills.
Both men just hitting the reset button. They realised a quick win was not on the cards for tonight.
Sammy offering the hand. And you're trying to be sportsmanlike.
Teach, you've got to know that while the fans and while the crowd are getting the chants in, both men are coming up with a tactic. Game plans being re-evaluated.
Throws the leg away and now going for that arm. The taller man able to drape the arm right over his shoulder, and an elbow is not meant to bend that way.
Now's Carter going to work his way out of this one. Pick the leg, but Sammy had an answer for it. Back into that arm bar, or that arm ringer.
He is really focusing on that joint manipulation.
Picks him up. Hyperextending the shoulder joint.
And a 6'2" man like that lifting you in the air is never going to be pleasant. All that pressure going on his arm. Easy enough to rip the arm out of the socket, Ollie.
Irish whip into the corner.
Oh, very
Floats
nice.
up and over, arm drag. And again, going back to the arm control.
And he's not letting it go. And picking the arm is a wise decision. And it shows how much he's learned in those last couple of years, needing to have a main focus and a game plan for this contest. You can't go into a match with CJ Carter not knowing what you're going to do and how to isolate him. And for CJ, I think for him, it's pushing on those technical skills. It's making sure he's showing everything he can do, and it's finding a way to grab a joint and lock it down.
Just the elevation and the extension and just the duration as well on that. When he held him up there, the shoulder must have been absolute agony for CJ Carter.
It's the equivalent of holding on to a cliff edge with just one arm holding a body weight up. Oh,
shoulder tackle.
Into the bad shoulder now.
Sammy Smooth definitely has a game plan. You think about all the high power offense from CJ Carter. If he's got a dead arm, he's not going to be able to,
like we're seeing
utilize
now,
that. Yeah, can't even get the hip toss over.
Oh, and this is smart. Reverses the pressure.
Ducks round. Off the ropes again. Oh, but into a
deep hip toss.
And Carter really struggling to put the pieces together in this match.
Yeah, sitting there observing it, maybe taking a moment to think about things.
Oh, look at this, smart from Pure Evil, rolling to the outside. I think you could tell that the tides were starting to turn against him, so he retreats to the outside, takes a breather, reassesses, because whatever he was working on wasn't going the way he wanted.
Yeah, it certainly seems that he's going to recuperate, rethink his strategies, and as long as he doesn't go past that 10 count, which I'm sure he wouldn't, he has the time to think about it. Of course, if he wanted to, he could just walk away. He could very easily just think, you know what, this match isn't going my way, I'm going to go and throw my toys out the pram.
I think the chip on the shoulder of CJ Carter will never let him do that.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
That was a chop and a half.
Oh, and this is where it gets nasty.
Sammy Smooth responds with one of his own. This one, I think, is just starting to break down. Gone are the technical holds of the shows of respect. It's just a war of strikes right now, chops and forearms, and look at the intensity on the face of both men.
CJ saying, go ahead, take a shot. Oh, you could hear the crack. And there's that strong start we talked about before.
Yeah, Carter definitely took offense from those shots, but now rapid fire back and forth.
And there's those European uppercuts.
There's another signature European uppercut from Sammy Smooth.
That's a big biceps. We go straight into the jaw as well, Ollie. Oh, just throws him off.
Launches him up and over the top rope.
Oh, and you know why.
We've seen this so many times. Springs up on him. Oh, wait.
But catches him.
I mean,
smart.
Both men spending significant amount of time in Pro Wrestling Clash, so you know they've both had a chance to scout this one. But look at this. Scoots up and over. Oh, Shote from Sammy Smooth.
And it's like you said, these guys, they haven't just faced each other in Apex. They have spent so much time in other promotions. They're very familiar with each other. They've obviously studied tapes, and Sammy Smooth trying to go in.
Going for a suicide dive, but forearm shiver.
And this is what I'm talking about. Oh,
super kick.
They have studied tapes very closely and have counters upon counters upon counters. CJ at the top rope.
Missile drop kick from Pure Evil. I mean, both men significant.
1, 2.
Oh! But I mean, you break it down, both men significant parts of Pro Wrestling Clash. Both men significant parts of frontline wrestling. I mean, these two move in such similar circles. They train with the same people.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be surprised if one day CJ Carter joins Sammy Smooth in the NXT UK ranks, but for the moment, they are still at that level where they're just anywhere there's a big name or a big promotion, they are there. The way we've seen CJ behave like this, you can't argue with that kind of evil behavior. You can't really do anything to change it. All you can do is try and stop it. And because they spend so much time training with the same people, because they spend so much time in the same places, it's hard to not see what the other's doing. Oh, and a knee right to the back of the skull. That is vicious. But an arrogant pin cover, though. Should have gone for a lateral press, but he hooked the leg. Instead, knee draped over the neck. Perhaps we're seeing a bit of a conflict here, an internal conflict.
Maybe. I mean, he's still definitely a nasty SOB, but at least he's not trying to choke the air out of Sammy Smooth.
And this is going back to that tactic I talked about, Ollie. The late game strength of Sammy Smooth might come out soon, and the more that Carter pokes the bear, if you will, you know, he's in control right now. He should be looking to try and finish this. Oh, straight out of the center.
Package out of nowhere too.
Oh.
I mean,
but look, Ollie holds onto the neck, maintains control.
Vertical suplex, no wasted motion from Sammy Smooth.
That is a very unique skill, and one that you have to be very high up to be able to do that. to know to hold on to your opponent after a failed pin attempt. It's almost like he knew, Ollie.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Sammy smooth out of the way. I'm not sure if he intended that, but the knees missed. You know, as we well into the 10th minute of this match, folks, you can see how exhausted both men are. Oh, Sammy smooth though. Look at this. You called it, teams. That explosion of offense in the late game.
Yeah, this is that late game adrenaline rush from the big man. And you can see the look on his face. He has gone into a second state, ultra instinct, if you will.
And that might be the second time lucky for Sammy Smooth. Pings up and over. And then slingshots over the turnbuckles onto CJ Carter. And that is one way to level the playing field and make sure things are in your favor. Oh, you've seen this as well. The rebound. Rebound lariat.
You can see the sweat explode off CJ's chest when he hits him. And the former Clash champion taking Carter to task here.
Sammy Smooth definitely putting the right moves together now. What's he got in mind? Jumps up and over. Oh, went for that moonsault.
Gets out though.
Lands on his feet. Oh, double clotheslines. Both men having the same thought. Double clothesline, so Carter's down, Smooth is down. Teams, you've got to think the first man back to his feet right now has got the clear advantage in this late into a match, could even equal the win.
Absolutely, we are in the end game right now, Ollie, and this is something that, you know, both men are going to be thinking about. What can I do if I can get to my feet first? What can I do to achieve that victory? And you've got to remember, both men have not gone for their final maneuvers yet. We haven't seen a Nightmare Driver. We haven't seen Darkness Falls. We haven't seen Sammy Smooth picking CJ Carter up and spinning him around till his head spins and driving him into the mat. We have not seen those yet, but I feel that we're getting very, very close.
And again, this one breaking down to strikes. Both men trying to get the upper hand right now. Oh wait, Sammy ducks one.
Oh, wow, the impact and a German to follow. Catches him at the end of the rope.
Oh, super kicks. Oh, wait. Rebound. Oh, wait, he saw it coming.
This time. Oh,
another German. Another German. And another super kick. And now it's Carter. One, two, throw. So close. It's CJ Carter putting the moves together.
You can almost say he's putting the boots to him with those super kicks. He's going to leave an imprint on Sammy Smooth's forehead. And that snap German was vicious, but like we said, it's learning, it's adapting on your feet, it's studying the tapes. And CJ now has got to wonder what he can do to put away someone like Sammy Smooth.
Like you said, they've been holding in their best shots. I went for the double underhook. Oh, look at this. Picks him up. Could be going for that patented buckle bomb.
Oh, and now has him up on his shoulders. Oh!
Spins him round with that side drop suplex.
Two.
Oh! Carter able to get the shoulder up.
Sammy has been fighting like a warrior through this. He's just taken some nasty shots and somehow has the strength and fortitude to pick Carter up, spin him around and slam him down. Both men are just running on fumes here. Oh, here we go, Ollie.
Yeah, could be going for the rack bomb.
Denied by Carter.
Oh, look, it's up and over. Oh my goodness!
Leaps him off his feet.
Oh, backstabber.
Oh, God.
Went for the long blow, then the backstabber.
One,
combo punch.
Two,
oh, Sammy with the shoulder up, but what a combo from CJ Carter.
Compress the lungs, compress the spine. You can't get any air into your lungs. There's no way you're going to be able to kick out, but somehow Sammy Smooth managed to.
Got to be on pure instinct alone.
I don't know how the crowd can be trying anything right now. They should be showing appreciation to both men. Well, that's just the way it goes. Nevertheless, Carter's got him up.
It's the thing, I hate to say it, but so far.
Could we go for the Nightmare Driver?
Oh, wait, on his shoulders. Launches him into the second turnbuckle, and I hate to say it, but so far in this match, CJ Carter has not taken a single shortcut. Oh, boot to the face.
Caught him in the ropes. That is some innovative offense. And now, while he's precarious,
picks him up,
spins him round.
Rack bomb.
1, 2, 3.
And as we've seen time and time again at Pro Wrestling Clash, that rack bomb is the exclamation mark at the end of the sentence.
I will say, Ollie, I think you'll agree with me, that was a hard-fought contest, and it was, for the most part, the 99% of it was fair, which is surprising.
I can't fault the tactics of either man, and as I say, in the evolution of pure evolution, if you will, CJ Carter resorted to well, tactics we're not used to. Well, didn't resort to the tactics
he
we're used
had
to.
the thread. He could have used it to choke Sammy, which we've seen him do many times. He threw it away. He had a count out to recuperate. He could have walked out. He got back in. And some of his best shots were held back in that contest. He didn't hit the Nightmare Drive. He didn't hit Darkness Falls, but he got him with some nasty kicks. A long blower, a backstabber, but it just wasn't enough. And on this night, Sammy Smooth remains victorious.
Well, folks, let's hope we don't have to wait another 2 years before we see a rematch, because that was one hell of a contest. Sammy Smooth is your victor.
What a contest.